Hello and welcome to God Logic. My name is Temko, and today we are taking a look at Firewatch. Now, what is Firewatch? Well, that's a question we've been asking ourselves for the last half year. It's mysterious, and the developer hasn't let go of a peep regarding its contents other than saying it's a mystery, and you are in the wilderness of Wyoming as a Firewatchman. What is a Firewatchman, you might say, if you're not from the US? Well, that's someone that actually watches a forest in a tower and looks at if there are any forest fires going on and reports them down the chain so they can be fought off and whatever they need to do there to prevent everything from burning down. Now, if you're wondering how this could be an exciting game, that question is the same one I had. But thankfully the game has an amazing dialogue system, an amazing exploration system, and quite a few other amazing things that really offset it from other titles that you might clump it up with, such as Dear Esther or Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. It's not like that at all. It's actually really good. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. Now, before we head into gameplay, we're going to look at the options menu and the performance of the game. If you do not want to hear me talk about options and performance for the next 5 or so minutes, you can press the annotation that has appeared somewhere on the screen and skip right ahead to the gameplay section. So let's head into the options menu. Settings are comprised of general, graphics, and controls. You can control them with a keyboard, you control them with a mouse. Everything is fully functional. We're going to head into general, which is audio and voice. Master volume, music volume, voice volume, and sounds. Pretty decent. You can also mute the game. I do not know why you would want to do this. I genuinely do not know why you want to do this. Sound, music, dialogue, these are the bread and butter of this game and its setting for the atmosphere. Don't mute it. Subtitles on or off, whichever you prefer. Always good to have these. Autosaves, which is pretty useful. Toggle head bob. Just you can turn this off if you want, but yeah, I turn it on. It's pretty good. Show your location on the map. So if you want to make the game a bit more interesting, you can disable this, and that way on the in-game map, which is your main form of navigation, you will not show up. You're gonna have to use various characteristics such as hills or grapple points, etc., to figure out where you are. And if you have this show location turned on, it will actually show you like a blinking icon on the map as we are used to from other games. And show new goal alerts, which is exactly what it says. It displays new goals when you come across them. You can turn these on or off to make the game slightly harder for yourself or slightly more of a immersive feel. I've kept them on for the demonstrations of this video, but I really do recommend turning off location mapping because it does provide a more in-depth experience. Graphics-wise, the game has most resolutions under the sun. I'm not sure why they made this weird menu. They could have just made a drop-down, but you know, it works. It's fine. It looks pretty well. Full screen on or off. No full screen windowed. VSync on or off, as you would expect. And graphics quality from low to ultra. It looks pretty decent. The performance is pretty nice, and you can change all these various things. What I am definitely missing is anti-aliasing as a separate option. I'm going to assume it is part of either the graphics quality or the world detail or something like that, but I would have liked to add a bit more anti-aliasing to the title because that is something I definitely notice when looking at longer distances. There are definitely some jagged edges on trees and hills and the like and further away. But that's my only real complaint. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. So, I'm gonna wrap up the controls. You can use keyboard, gamepad, Sony gamepad, Steam controller. This is pretty amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm nothing to add here. This is really good. I am using a keyboard, obviously, a mouse. You can turn on mouse smoothing. I'm not sure why you would want to do that, you horrible person. And invert the Y-axis. Again, you are a horrible person, but you might want that. Keys are rebindable with main key as well as alt key, which is obviously really good. I have no complaints at all about any of these option menus outside of that little thing I mentioned in the graphical options. So that's all pretty good. Which brings us to the end of the options menu. And I can talk a little bit about performance. The performance is pretty good on the game. I have a stable 60 FPS in almost all situations. There is some hitching that happens when it tries to load in a new segment of the gameplay, but it's barely notable if you are just playing the game as it should be played. So let's go straight ahead into some gameplay. I'm gonna start a new game. Mostly because I want to spoil as little as possible of the game because, oh god, this game is run fully on its dialogue and gameplay experience. So, we're gonna head into new game. If we head into gameplay, we're gonna delete this game and start a new game. I want to start off by talking about the things I do not enjoy about this game. and there's really only two of them. First things first, the game lasts you about 6 hours, and it's a mystery game, so pacing is really important, and the game builds up to an amazing crescendo up to the end, where it suddenly drops off. The ending is very anticlimactic for my personal opinion, and I enjoyed it less than I would have had it been stretched a little bit further ahead with more build-up or with a faster build-up to the crescendo of the end. So that's my only real complaint, is that the ending feels a little rushed. And I'm specifically talking about the last 30 or so minutes of gameplay. Up to that point, everything is as perfect as it can be for this type of game. It is absolutely amazing. The second thing I will also fault the game for is backtracking. If you look at a map and you zoom in a little bit, you can see the map is pretty decently big. And you can explore most of this map, but certain areas are locked away. So if I want to go down to Cottonwood Creek and into this little side corner here in the bottom right, I can't, because around Cache 307 it is completely blocked off with no way through until very much later on in the game. So I did not like that at all. So these are my two only complaints about the game, and that is genuinely my only two complaints. So what else is really good about the game? Well, the game is a mystery game. As such, you are mostly walking around the world, experiencing the amazing scenery and finely crafted map, and interacting with objects. You might be wondering, how does this interaction work? Well, I can tell you that exactly. This interaction works mostly through the use of a radio. And this radio is between you and a lady named Delilah. So if I go in here into my tower, I can turn on the switch for my generator, get some nice little lightning going on, and this is going to be my homes for the next couple of months. This radio here is your lifeline. It is the only communication you have with another sentient human being in the game. It will allow you to talk to Delilah. And the focal point of this game is definitely the interaction between Henry, which is you, and Delilah, which is the lady on the other side of the phone. Or radio in this case.
Excuse me?
The way the dialogue is done and the way the characters are played is so human, so relatable, and so very well executed without a multi-million capture suit budget. They feel human, they feel relatable, they feel nice, you're really genuinely happy they're building a friendship. And when the big mystery and conspiracy that the game is all about starts to unfold, and you'll get clues, and you're suspicious of Delilah, and you're suspicious of you, and you're not sure what's going on, and you're trying to find a common ground with her, and you're finding new things in the game world happening that you're not sure what's happening, and you get paranoid. I genuinely felt like I was being followed in the world. Because I could hear branches snapping, I could hear weird noises, and I'm not sure if that's real or not, but I was definitely paranoid. So that is the game in a nutshell. You walk around this map, and there are some objectives you can do, like chase away some teenagers from throwing away fireworks and finding a down power line for the phones. That's more or less an excuse to get you into the world and to explore the world map than anything else. The real meat of the game is finding out these little clues, these little inconsistencies in the game from what you're finding, what you are seeing, what has happened before, and what the hell is going on. And you do this by talking with Delilah. So most of the game world, you interact by pressing left shift and selecting a dialogue option. And these dialogue options range from simple, one choice, and a bit of dialogue plays out, to multi-pronged timed options, where you are forced to make a choice based on certain criteria. So she'll give you a choice like you just saw earlier, how you can reply to her what you think her reason is for being out here in the wilderness in the middle of nowhere. And you had 3 options to do that. Other times you only have one option, and that's often the case with interacting with item or with a location. So that's really what the game is all about. And you can hear the dialogue a little bit. And I'm going to shut up for a second or two just to let you listen to the really good voice acting. And you can decide for yourself if this is something that you might enjoy.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Are those fucking fireworks?
Whoa, that's not legal, right?
No. You need to get down there right now and stop them. Fire danger is through the fucking roof.
Is that really my job?
Your job is whatever I say it is. Look, the closest ranger is like 2 days away. Go down there and set him straight.
Like, kick the shit out of him sort of straight?
No. Jesus, no.
What? I'm not a cop. It's not like I've got a rule book over here.
Just make sure they don't do it again. Take their shit.
All right, fine.
Don't feed anyone a knuckle sandwich. Get going. You'll probably need a rope to get down the shale between you and the lake, if I remember right. There should be one in the supply box on the way. The code is 1234. It's actually that for all of them.
Smart.
Shut up.
So that's the dialogue and branching dialogue options in the game. That is mostly what the conversations are going to be like. So now I have been given a assignment by Delilah, and I have to go out down there into the world and figure out where those kids are with the fireworks. So Julie told me they're at the lake, Johnsy's Lake, and this place a nice little path down there. The lake trail going by Cache 306 down to a campsite, which is probably what they're using as well. There's a couple other campsites on the map, bottom right corner, bottom left corner, up here somewhere. And then you head down to Jonesy's Lake. So let's go ahead and head down. And I can talk about how you navigate the game world. So you navigate the game world by walking, and you walk a lot. You also navigate the game world by checking the map and seeing where you are, which is the blinking icon. And like I said, you can turn this off in the options menu, and I do recommend that because it does provide a little bit more of immersion. And you can use these icons on the right side of the map, as well as like the various things and information regarding that. And you can look at the compass and point north and orient yourself that way. So you're definitely never getting lost. So the goal for me is to get to Cache 306 and then head down to Jonesy's Lake. Well, let's get to it then. We're going to walk down. And this is about your walking speed. And there is a sort of sprint that is unlimited when you press R, which increases your movement speed a little bit. But this is more or less your movement speed. So moving around through the world definitely takes some time. And while that is not a problem, especially not the first couple of hours as you are exploring and trying to figure out various things in the game world and trying to figure out, like you're looking at beautiful vistas and expansive fields and the like, which looks pretty amazing overall, all over the game world. And you can run down here and see if we can get actually some nice little vista somewhere over here. Oh, there's our cache. We're already at it. So we're gonna talk to Delilah and say the following things. And this is the game. She will give you some information, and you will be able to use that information to sort of piece together what is going on. She doesn't know what's going on either, or at least not that you're aware of. And you're sort of getting finding notes and finding clues in books and finding weird objects and finding things that don't really make sense if you are a fire watchman. There is a fenced-off area somewhere you can get into. So there's these conspiracy things going forward. And that drives the plot forward. But the plot is always driven forward by the fact that these two people just build a friendship. They're relatable. Henry, his wife, is having trouble with dementia. She's dying, obviously. So he's a little bit of a troubled man. And Delilah is also here as well. You also find out why she is here. And you have these dialogues, and they banter, and they turn a real friendship. And that is amazing. You really feel connected to these people. And as the game's very relaxed nature, because it's really relaxed right now. I'm in the forest. It's nice sunny weather. There is nothing preventing me from enjoying this granola bar, which also gave me some dialogue options with Delilah. The game really turns up the tension quite a bit later on, which is around when you get to chapter 3, which is mostly around the point when you figure out that there is actually something going on that is really, really wrong. Then you figured out what might be the thing that's going on. You're trying to get ideas. You're trying to get them out of Delilah. You're trying to make sure she's not complicit in this conspiracy. Trying to drag you down with her. And she's doing the same for you. She's not sure of you either. So you're trying to get this tension going, and this blooming friendship is put under pressure, and so forth and so on. So this is really what the game is about. And you can explore this nice little map. Now, what I said before, initially, this doesn't get boring. And it doesn't. But it does get a tad annoying about 4 hours in when you have to retread the same zone a second or third time to get to a specific point. Because the game decided to send you all the way back for a specific item and then send you all the way back forth again with that specific item. And the game does lock away certain areas of the map, like I said before, and these are generally out-of-way corners that are necessary for the story progression later on. So I do understand them locking them away a little bit, but it would have been nice if everything was open from the get-go and you could like sort of piece together your experience as you think it would be. Now, there's also a couple of randomized elements here and there. There is a hidden turtle somewhere. And in one of my playthroughs, I found a beaver sitting on top of the log there, where I was just looking over the vista. So there's some variety in gameplay between playthroughs. And you can obviously select different dialogue options to experience all of that. And there's a couple of funny moments as well. It's all about them. So I really enjoy that. So this is the gameplay. You will talk to Delilah and perform some mundane actions, mostly walking and interacting with objects. And during all of that, the game will unfold its plot, and its mystery, and its conspiracy. And that will either interest you or it won't. But if it does interest you, this game is amazing. And if you are more of a person that wants to run around and shoot things, well, this is not the game for you. This game follows the trend of games like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture or Dear Esther, where you are walking and experiencing the world, but it does it much better than either of those games ever could because it is actually a good story you can experience in the game that neither of those two other or many other titles like that do have, or don't have in that case. One last thing I want to mention before I sign off on this review video is a very small tidbit that I really enjoyed. Is that around Act 2 you will find a disposable camera. You know, one of those old cardboard ones you could throw in on a Walmart or whatever supermarket you have in your neighborhood and you get these crappy photos made? Well, you find one of those with about 15 to 20 shots left on it. And if you finish all these 20 shots and you finish the film in the camera, you get an option in the menu that tells you can get them developed. You can get your in-game screenshots developed in real life and sent to your house for somewhere around 20 euros. Or you can get them sent digitally and you can print them yourself if you would prefer that. Which is something I really liked. They don't mention it anywhere. It's not in any of the files we got sent as press. It's just something we found out by playing the game. So that's pretty amazing. And it's one little tiny bit that makes this game just extra special because it has that tiny little attention to detail. So yeah, Firewatch. It's pretty damn amazing. And suspenseful and short. But really good. If you are interested in Firewatch, it is out on February the 9th over on Steam. It will last you between 4 to 6 hours and it will provide you probably about one full playthrough as well as a second playthrough for the alternate dialogue options you may have missed in the first one because the dialogue and interaction is really what makes the game. Yeah, if you like this video, press the like button below. And if you didn't like this video, well, there's the dislike button for exactly that reason. And leave a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what we can do better. Tell us everything. So thank you for watching. And I will see you right here on Guy Logic next time.